Now tell us, very, very interesting pets. What is this one here?
Right, this one here, it's quite a fancy corn snake. It's actually called a melanistic motley corn snake. It's not a big name.
It doesn't bite you or anything, does it?
No, it definitely doesn't bite.
It does. Can you bring it out? Look,
sure.
Well, we get the snake out. I think we're going to get the snake out here at the moment. Right. Now, why are snakes good pets?
There's quite a few reasons they're good pets. One of the things as most people know is asthma is quite a problem now, especially with kids and stuff like that. That the thing about snakes is they don't have fur and they don't have feathers, so you don't have the problem of allergies and stuff like that.
I'm thinking, right, what do we think in the studio? Should I take a hold of this snake? Should I take it in my hands?
Come on, girl.
Right, come to me, you little baby. Oh, it feels different from what I thought. I thought it would feel really slimy, but it doesn't. You know, this is like probably the first snake I've ever held in my life, and it's sticking its tongue out at the moment. Why is it sticking its tongue out at me?
All it's doing is it's just wondering what's going on, and that's how they smell. They don't smell through their nose like we do. They actually use their tongue.
Oh, they smell through their tongue?
They pick up the scent in the air and they flick it back up into the roof of their mouth. They've got an organ in the roof of their mouth, that's how they smell.
Excellent.
Are they easy to look after?
They are easy to look after, but you really need to know what you're doing. You need to get the setup right. They need a warm end in the vivarium and a cooler end. It's very important that you know what you're doing before you get a snake. Don't just buy it and then say, right, what do I do now? Right. You need specialised equipment. But once you know what you're doing, it's easy.
Is there special snakes you should stay away from and are more suited to a house environment?
Personally, I would say avoid the big snakes unless you've kept snakes before and you really know what they're all about. If you could buy a Burmese python at a pet shop as a baby. It might be about 12 inches long.
It's actually breathing very warm in the moment. I hope it hasn't.
No,
is it poisonous?
No, it's not poisonous.
It's not poisonous?
Nope.
How much would you have to spend on a snake?
On the actual snake?
On the snake and on the upkeep of it?
Right, if you were buying a baby snake, anything from about £30. Depending on the type of snake. Some snakes, I was actually speaking to a friend of mine from America, and she's got a baby snake that's worth $9,500.
What? You're kidding me on.
Why is it so expensive?
Because they're rare. The particular snake that she's got, there's only actually 6 of them in the world. So they're very, very rare, and people pay a lot of money to own those snakes.
People can be frightened of snakes. You know, can you tell us why they're frightened of them?
I think a lot of it's to do with like films and stuff like that. They see films like Anaconda, think snakes just come straight and bite you, that type of thing, that they're aggressive. Snakes are actually really shy. Normally they would only bite if they felt really threatened.
Now, can this actually bite me?
It could possibly bite you, but it won't. It's like anybody's pet dog. I mean, anybody's dog could bite, but we know that pet dogs don't bite.
What does it eat?
Mice.
Right, okay.
That's the big sticking point when people want to get one.
But how can a small thing like this eat a mouse?
It's amazing the size of food a snake can take. They dislocate their jaws when they feed. They can't chew. They've got to swallow their prey whole. They eat the whole mouse. So they digest the bones, the fur, everything.
So long as that lasts them for?
A week.
A week?
About a mouse a week would be.
Now, do you think it knows that we're talking about it? Oh my goodness, what is it doing to me now?
I doubt if it knows what we're saying because they don't have any ears.
They don't have any ears?
No, they're totally deaf.
And I really don't know how to ask this, you know, but I really think I should. How does it go to the toilet?
Everybody asks that one, the same as everybody else goes to the toilet.
Right, okay, but it doesn't seem to, you know...
It does if you look closely, it does.
Right, okay. And so another thing I was going to say, how do you sex a snake?
Right, sexing snakes, there are very, very few snakes that you can sex 100% by just looking at them.
Right.
Western hognose is the only one that I can think of off the top of my head that you can't sex them. They actually need what they call probed.
What? This is really good swearing.
It's like a small metal rod that gets inserted into the opening. only goes in a few scales, it's a female.
Right, okay.
If it goes in quite far, it's a male. And that's the only way that you can 100% sex a snake.
Right, okay.
But
Oh, so
it's not something that you would just do. Obviously, you get somebody that knows what they're doing, because you could seriously damage a snake if you did it wrong.
You know, this is like really, really pretty, you know, and it doesn't actually, you know, it doesn't seem like a snake, you know, it's like the colouring, but I see you've got another one over there, which you can take out yourself. It's looking slightly more scary.
This, the one that you've got there, that has been sort of created by people crossing snakes, finding a bright snake and breeding it with another bright snake. And eventually they come up. You wouldn't find a snake like that in the wild, but you would find one like this in the wild.
So, has this been more like genetically modified?
Man-made, really.
Oh my goodness.
There's the corn snakes. I mean, that's the corn snake, but there's over 50 different types of corn snake, and every year people are coming up with new ones. You get ones with stripes, one with blotches, ones with no markings on them at all, one with red eyes, one with black eyes. But
where can people find out more information about the snakes you've got?
If you want to find out more information, look at my website.
I believe I've got it on
We've got the
screen.
address at the
Yeah,
moment.
it's www.petsnakes.co.uk.
Now, I've recently believed that you don't actually just have these, you own other creatures as well, don't you? Just tell us about them quickly.
Right, okay, I've got, I used to keep tarantulas at one point, but I've moved off of them. I've got scorpions, I've got bearded dragons, I've got 2 dogs, 2 cockatiels.
What is a bearded dragon?
It's a type of lizard that comes from Australia.
Nicholas Scavenger. Who's in here tonight, all the way from Petsnakes? It's Jim Webb!
Jim, I am terrified of you.
I know.
Keep those things back.
So show me your bearded dragon then.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that's them there. The company,
How old are they?
well, the wee one there, he's only 1. And the female, that's the one that's a bit bigger, she's 2.
So are they real, because they're very still at the moment?
They're real. They're quite happy sitting up. They like to sit up high and just watch what's going on. If you watch them, they're watching the lights, they're watching you, they're watching the cameras. They're just quite interested in what's going on, but they're quite happy just to sit there.
So, Jim, why this hobby? Why pick this hobby?
I get asked this all the time, and I can't really explain it. I've just always been into animals and stuff. Yes, definitely. That's the people at my work. I've just always been into animals. I'm really interested in reptiles and stuff like that. I'm interested in photography as well. So I get sort of unusual pictures, stuff that's maybe a bit different. I just really enjoy it.
Tell us a bit about the bearded dragons. Now, you say they're from Australia.
From Australia, they make really good pets because they're pseudocell. Like, I mean, normally most lizards, if I sat them up on that log, they would be off, they would be away. But they're quite happy just to sit there and watch. They're really good for handling and stuff like that. They don't get stressed out, they're just quite happy to sit.
How long do these bearded dragons live for?
They can live up to about 12 years. So
12 years? You've got them for another, what, 10 years, 11 years? And can you cope?
Yes.
I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, if, God forbid if anything to happen to you,
Well,
would anybody take them off your hands?
People would, believe it or not.
Oh, honestly?
Aye.
I mean, okay, having, you know, relatives, son, daughter, pass them about, but I mean, they think,
Well, it's
no,
actually,
they come to stay with
Actually,
me.
Jim, just freak her out some more. Tell us what else you have, okay? Because we're going to be bringing them along.
right, okay.
Each week.
Well, I had snakes in before.
Oh my
I've
goodness.
actually just got back from snake collection. I did have 38 snakes.
Jim, you're one weird man.
I've only
I'm
got
sorry.
10.
I'm
That's
so
okay.
sorry.
It's only 10.
No, but see, that's
I mean,
the way
get
it
a
is.
dog, get a
I've
cat.
got 2 dogs.
But you've been thinking here, right, because
Oh,
you don't like them. You look at this, look at these wee creatures here. You put them away, they're not hard to handle, aren't they?
No.
But where's
they're fine.
the attraction? I mean, what do you like about them?
I just think they're really interesting. They're different for a dog or a cat. You don't need to take them out walks and stuff like that.
So they make good
They're
pets?
quiet.
Can I hold one,
Aye.
actually? Do you want to have a wee look?
Oh, I don't know about that.
What one do you want?
I think I'll take the
I
wee
don't
one that
like
just stuck its
animals
tongue
at
out.
all.
The wee one?
I don't like animals,
put it
and I
down.
certainly do not like these things.
Oh, have a look at this, Louise. Look.
Oh my goodness.
Do you want a wee stroke?
No, I
Come
don't
on,
know.
how can you turn round and say it's not? Look at it. Feel it. It's very, very
What?
down the way, gently now.
It's Jackie?
Do you not think it's a great pet
Oh,
like for
I don't
your
like
kids?
that.
Because you've got these all day. You don't have to worry about, like Jim says, take them out for a walk, feed them. How do you breed them? Because you've got a few of them.
How do you breed them? You get a male and a female.
Yeah.
They'll breed, they just breed themselves, but you need to cool them a bit because obviously, like in the winter when they're in the wild, they cool down a bit and then they go into the breeding season. So you need to drop the temperature in the tank about 10 degrees to cool them down and then start warming it up again, and they think it's springtime, time for breeding. And the female, she'll lay up to 25 eggs.
Do they lay up to 25? Is that a lifetime or a time?
No, they aren't old enough to breed until they're about 2, so like that one there would be ready to breed this year, but he's too young to breed. So,
Jim, do you not think it's a lot of upkeep for no return in anything, affection?
I don't know, because I'm finding this very
You can't even get enjoyment with taking them walks. Do you not think you're just totally giving and there's nothing back?
No, I get a lot back. I just like watching them. I like taking pictures of them, stuff like that. I just find
Look at this, she's mad.
I know.
It's actually quite funny. If you look at it, it's got a gorgeous little face.
Oh my, viewers, a gorgeous little face.
It has got
Have you ever heard anything so much rubbish?
Oh, have you tell it to his face?
Oh,
Maybe you not apologise for the thing, you know. Tell it you're sorry.
Please, I'm sorry.
I'm
so sorry. I'm so sorry. You just imagine this big, massive tongue taking you and eating you alive, licking you up, licking the gremlin.
And your problem with that?
That's the way I describe that, a gremlin.
It's not a gremlin. It's so sad.
Not for me.
It's not for you.
So
right?
what else have you still to bring in? What other animals? Is that you brought everything
no,
in?
I've got a load of stuff to bring in.
Oh,
what are you bringing?
Make sure I'm not on.
He's bringing something especially for you next week. What are you bringing along?
Definitely next week, a tarantula.
Oh, no way. No. You haven't got a tarantula?
Well, I did have tarantulas, but with stuff getting bigger, I've sort of cut back my collection. But I'll be getting a loan of a tarantula for a friend, just to bring it in, just to let you see it.
Now, just to let you know, the email address is on screen at the moment. It's www.petsnakes.co.uk. If you would like to get in contact with Jim Moore, don't forget I'll be back in here next Thursday. But from now, thank you very much to Jim.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks not, Jim.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Jim. I can't. Why did you put it so close to me?
I thought you would like to see up close.
Right, okay, tell me what you brought us here.
Okay, this is a Chilean nose tarantula.
Keep it back from me, please.
It's probably, if you're just getting into tarantulas, this is the one to get. It's pretty docile. There's not much chance of it running up your arm or something like that. They tend to just sit. They're quite okay. That's really it. That's the best one to get.
So why would you get, like, are we going to take the lid off, aren't we?
I'll take the lid off if you want a better look at the cameras.
Take the lid off.
Take the lid off, but don't put it anywhere near me.
Please do this with me. Put all your positive energy into this television.
Is there any arachnophobes out there? You better
just move your chair over slightly.
Because this is terrifying.
Now, why do people keep tarantulas as pets?
It's probably the same thing as people that keep snakes and other sort of unusual stuff.
They're mad. They're mad, Jim.
It's people that are interested in the actual animal. They're not pets as such. You don't clap them, stuff like that. People just like to watch them. There's quite a lot to learn off the tarantulas, so they're actually quite interesting if you're into that sort of thing.
I noticed the thing about these, they're very, very hairy.
They are very hairy. The hairs serve different purposes. The spider can detect air movement with the hair on its legs. It knows if anything's maybe coming down to try and eat it or something like that.
Right.
The hairs on the abdomen, that's the big fat bit at the back. They're really important, especially for a spider like that. They've actually got what they call utricating hairs.
Buttricating hairs?
Utricating hairs.
Right.
What they do is they flick the hair up into the air. If an animal was going to eat it, it would put its face down close to it. It would flick the hairs up, the animal would breathe them in, and they've got an irritant in them. They cause inflammation in your throat, your nose. They can even cause problems with vision. So it's a very bad idea to hold a tarantula anywhere near your face.
So what do they actually eat?
They eat
other
crickets.
than humans?
They eat crickets. They don't eat humans. They eat crickets.
Crickets, do they? Right. So the big eaters then? A cricket's quite big.
Well, a cricket would last it quite a while. Spiders can actually go for a long, long time without feeding, over a year.
Right.
I'm actually hearing, can you hear that strange noise actually coming from? Is that the the spider?
That's the cricket. There's a couple of crickets in there. What you can actually hear is a female cricket trying to attract mates.
It's not going to get much mates in there,
It's going to get more than it bargains for, I think.
This is very, very, I don't know what to do here. Can I give this a wee tap or will it do a run?
Oh, don't give it a tap.
I'll do it just in case it does anything.
Oh, he's
Oh my God.
He's all tongs. He's the racing kit.
Oh, look.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Can it jump, Jim? No, no chance. It can jump right
really
out of that.
jump. No.
It can't jump.
What's its name?
I've actually got a loan of it. I don't know if it has a name.
That's a very strange
Is it a
name.
man?
I've actually got a loan of it. Why did they call it that?
I don't know. I think they got a loan of it.
Is it a man or a woman?
It's a female because the males only live for about 2 or 3 years. They grow up, they mate, and then they die. The females live a lot longer. That female's 8 years old. She could live to be about 12.
Oh, wow. So how do they mate then, the spiders?
When they mate, the male actually, there's always a possibility that he can be dinner if the female picks him up as just being food. So you find that what happens is you see the male go near the female and he starts tapping his feet. And it's basically to say, look, I'm not food. And the female, he'll determine whether the female's going to let him near her or not. They actually mate face to face.
Do they?
The males have got hooks in their front legs. They actually hold the female up in a way so she doesn't try to bite him when they mate.
So what's the babies like? Are they just like...
Tiny, absolutely tiny. They have hundreds,
Since we're talking about
hundreds
male
of
and female.
babies. Hundreds.
It put me in mind of babies. Right, so they're like
They're
tiny.
tiny, absolutely tiny spiders. She'll lay eggs in a sort of a silk cocoon, and then the babies will come out of that, and you'll get hundreds of babies coming out of that.
You were saying they actually had fangs earlier on, you know, because you were taking us out, and it was actually a bit disturbed, like I think it was with the cold wind round the park, and it actually showed teeth. Are they like venomous?
They've got fangs. They're mildly venomous, probably equivalent to a bee sting, something like that. Maybe a bit sorer than that.
I always thought a tarantula could kill you.
No, everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks tarantulas bite you and you die for the bite. Tarantulas don't really have a very strong venom. They've got huge fangs. I mean, they're really powerful. They use them to kill their prey.
Can I tell you something? I was actually watching another television show, which I will not mention the name, right? And what they actually done is they lifted a tarantula up, and the guy actually said that they were finding you could kiss your tarantula.
That's an unbelievably stupid thing to do with a tarantula. Really, really silly thing. Like I said, the hairs on the back of that spider, they're a defensive thing. Now, this spider I know has been handled for 8 years. Children have handled it and it's been absolutely fine. I picked it up last night. It's in a new tank, it's in a new environment. I tried to handle it this afternoon and it reared up and bared its fangs at me, and if I had put my hand in there it would have bit me. And it's never ever done that. So they're really unpredictable. You've got to know the signs.
So you would rather deal with snakes then rather than tarantulas?
I used to keep tarantulas. I found them really interesting, but after I'd sort of watched them, one of the things that's quite interesting is when they molt. They actually molt as they get bigger. And what they do is they make a little silk... Paul's going to have a fit
It's
here.
moving a bit.
They make a little silk...
Look at this, it's climbing. Oh, it's climbing out of the tank! Oh my goodness! It's coming again!
When they're going to molt, they make a little silk nest, like a silk bed, and they lie on it on their back, and then they actually come out of the skin backwards, and they leave an exact copy of the spider. It actually looks like a spider lying on its back.
So, like, if people have any problems with the spiders, or they have sick spiders because they have illness, would they just email you on your website?
The website's www.petsnakes.co.uk. It's not just snakes I deal with. I've kept tarantulas, so I know quite a bit about them as well.
Do you know what, Jim? It's a pleasure having you, and I would like to keep you here longer. But please, go and take the wee spider, take it out and let it be free. You know, it's like...
I'd rather have snakes than that.
Please give it up for Jim Lance.
Thanks, Jim.
This evening.
This week, I know that I've brought a few different snakes on, but this one's a bit different for the rest that I've had on.
Why do they have forked tongues?
They use their tongue to smell. So it's easier if
You
they
better keep away from these two at the moment, then.
I get all of a sudden ballsy after having my finger chopped off.
Did you get a wee fright?
I did a little.
Can I have a wee hold of the snake, guys?
Sure.
I'm not going to lie, we wouldn't hold this before, would we?
You wouldn't hold it before?
Because, I'll tell you what, Jim, what did you tell us? It would bite us if we smelt of what?
Mice,
Mice.
rats, rabbits,
And I ain't kicking all the time.
Anything, you know, food, it's going to bite me, I'm convinced.
I have to say, if my cousin Maura's watching, please make sure that she's switched off, actually, because she hates
I get
it.
really
She's
ballsy on
petrified.
live television. It's really strange.
So would you like a little hold of
It's
it?
like a macho thing.
It's not one to go to you at all, actually. Do you see how it's turning away? Jim, tell us a bit about this.
Right, okay, it's a Brazilian rainbow boa, and it's actually just a young snake. It's only a 1.5 years old. It'll grow to about 6.5 feet long. The thing that's a bit special about this snake is, I don't know if the camera can get it, but if you can get a close-up of its head, you'll see there's some little ridges at the side of its face. These are actually heat sensors. It can pick up body temperatures without actually seeing. In a pitch-black room, it would still be able to catch a mouse or a rabbit. It uses them in the jungle.
Camouflage on that shot.
In the jungle.
It'd be camouflaged in his pants as well.
Actually, no, but...
In the jungle, it's pretty dense. It's hard for it to find like mice and rats and stuff. It picks up the smell of the prey, and then it moves in until it can pick up the heat.
Coming up for a bag off.
It's actually, it's actually getting very close here at the moment. It's actually running its tongue against me. I can feel it.
You like that though?
Licking my
You
skin.
don't normally complain.
Well, you know, but usually I can argue back. Look at
Get
this.
your tongue, go on, Polly.
Do you think I can intimidate it with my tongue?
You did.
I did, actually.
Look at it. Backed off.
In those competition minutes.
Yeah. It's like, if I can do what I can do with mine, what can you do with yours?
Does this one belong to you, Jim?
That's one of my own snakes,
Really? And this eats mice the same as the other two?
It eats, at the moment it eats large mice or small rats. When it's full size, it'll eat medium to large rats.
What's its full size?
6.5 feet.
Oh, wonderful. So how long will it take to grow?
It'll take a few years to get to that, maybe 5 or 6 years. It'll live for over 20 years, so it's not a pet. You've got to think about these things before you get them. Not a lot of people want to take on 6.5 foot snakes.
It's kind of tame though, this one.
It's
You told-
well behaved.
It's very
You told
tame.
us you had it with school kids and everything.
That's right. I was
It's
doing
kind of endearing, this
I
one.
was doing a talk in Ballgreen Primary School in Edinburgh yesterday, and I had this snake in, and it was fine. The kids
Were
were
a lot of the
handling
kids up for holding it?
it. You find that the kids are great for like taking the snakes. It's the adults. You bring the snake out of the box, and the kids all step forward, and adults all step back. It's just that when they're young, kids don't have really much of a fear of snakes.
No chance. It actually just went somewhere there it shouldn't have. I got a little bit of fright. It's actually hiding at the moment. What's wrong with it?
No, it'll hide. I mean, that's what the snakes do. They don't really like bright light.
Trying to hide in between my
Well,
legs.
it's looking for somewhere dark to hide.
Somewhere
Hey,
dark and warm.
That's my
warm.
snake's place. You get
You know?
Get a room.
Get a room.
Pay for it. It's gorgeous. You've actually brought along, you know, guys, you know how we like these snakeskin shoes?
Yeah.
You've actually brought along some snakeskins with
I
you
brought
as well.
along some snake skins just to let you see
It's very friendly.
what they actually look like.
Of course, he's very nice.
I just don't want to drop them.
I don't think I want you to drop them either.
I love animals, me.
These are very interesting.
Right.
Is this off this snake?
This, not that one. I've got one in here that is from that snake, but it's basically it looks the same as this. When
Where's the colour? Where's the colour?
That's what I was going to say. When they shed their skin, they don't shed the colour. A lot of people think that you would get a copy of that. If you see a shed, what they call a shed skin, and it's got colour on it, it actually means that they've killed the snake and skinned it.
I'll get it.
It will go down your top if you don't move it.
Where is it? Actually, I think I've lost the snake.
So how often do they shed those
Right,
skins?
when they're young, they shed their skins about every 4 weeks. You got a problem?
Jim wants to help you out. Jim needs a professional to help her out here, mate.
I don't know what it is, right, okay.
It's gone right down the top.
Just lift the boob and move it out the way.
Just wrap it.
With your teeth.
I think a nipple needs a bit of a lick. Just that way the snake
Not
will
too
be more
much wetness,
squishy.
not too much wetness. Otherwise the snake will bite.
Right, John, continue.
This is a shed skin. If you look at the skin, if you actually look at the head of that shed, you'll be able to see the snake's eyes. They've actually got a scale over their eye that you wouldn't expect.
Have a look at that. Let me show you the eyes here. Wait there.
Do you know, I don't actually like
You see
touching
his
the
head?
skins. I don't mind touching it when it's live, but I don't like
The
to feel
skin,
the
it feels like paper. It's really, really dry. Whereas the snake, it isn't. I mean, it looks, when you look at the snake, it does actually look slimy because it's so shiny.
That's what I was going to say. How do you maintain that? Do you get some oil and rub some oil in your snake?
No,
No, you don't have to do that.
No, I don't have to do that.
No.
Get somebody else to do that.
You
for
looked
me.
at her like, don't ask stupid questions there, Jim. I couldn't help but notice that.
No, I was in a shopping centre doing some talks last weekend, and somebody asked me if I polished the snakes because they were so shiny, and they were being serious. They're just,
What do you say? Tin of brass soap.
they just are like that. It helps them when they're moving through the trees and stuff like that, to actually move through the
I can't help but
thick.
think that your place must be an intimidating place for chicks to come back to, you know.
No, as if they've got a few of these snakes.
And as if they are
quite
chicks
a
of the
few.
chicken kind, because you know they would just get fed to the snakes. Actually, what are you going to bring along for this next week, just quickly?
I'm going to forget the snakes for a wee while, because I've done enough of that. I'm going to bring something different.
Guys, we're back. We've got coming up Indiana Jim, and we've still got magician Kevin Carter to come. But just to join us in the studio next, we've got Indiana Jim, and this guy, he brings wildlife, crazy wildlife. And I had all these punchlines. Come on, get your python out, get this out, get that out. And all of a sudden, he brings these tiny little, creepy insects. And I've sworn...
Nikki loves them.
I've sworn, Nikki, I've sworn I'm not touching those things. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm an animal lover.
It's not that you touch them and they don't want to let go.
And then Indiana Jim warned me that these, the millipedes squirted you with iodine and said it was cool, and I'm freaking out, but you're sat next to them, Nikki, so good luck.
I'm moving. Oh, and they're moving as well. So you
Jim.
better move over to this guy here. And it's
How are you, my friend?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
What have you brought for us today?
Right, this week, I decided to bring some creepy crawlies. I was fed up bringing the nice looking stuff, so I thought I would bring something a bit different. What I've got here is spiny stick insects from Papua New Guinea. That's where they originate from. I know that people will normally think of stick insects as the little green things that you see at school, the Indian
See,
stick
that's what I
insects,
thought
the
you were bringing
tiny
in.
things.
Yeah,
But I thought, nah, they aren't any good for the TV.
Get one of those
so
boys out.
Let's get one of these
Get the
puppies
bad
out.
boy with the spikes out.
Crack open these puppies. And I think, now we're on live
Nikki was
television,
actually-
Nikki is struggled. Look how he handles this.
Nikki was telling me she loved stroking your snake the last time.
Oh, it was lovely.
The last time she met you.
And the time before.
Loads of times.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you not
Oh,
actually
my.
not afraid of breaking that thing, Jim? Should I hold it?
You need to be sort of
I don't
careful.
know.
What, if I held it, it's not going to bite me or anything?
It's not going to bite you, it's not going to sting you.
So
Oh, no.
go for it then, I'm cool. I'm pretty
It
cool.
did
The
a
only
turd
thing
on
is
him
you need
before,
to
man.
watch their feet, because they're
did.
basically like grappling
swear to
hooks,
God.
and you see it, they stick,
Yeah.
catch on.
Does that hurt?
No, it doesn't hurt.
Well,
no.
you can take it back off me. Oh my.
Oh, you're shaking.
Jesus Christ, I'm like a woman.
I can actually see the sweat on the palm.
Oh my God, look at this. This is pathetic, but I always say,
Keep that
how
away.
you doing, mate? How you doing? I actually love animals. What's his name?
Keep away.
It doesn't have a name.
Oh, it should have a
Is
name.
it, can we tell if this is a girl or a boy?
Yeah, it's a boy.
Do you know why? Because Jim, you tell them why. I don't know why. But
Don't
Jim,
wanna
you tell them
know.
why.
Right, this one is a male. You can tell that it's a male because of these spines that he's got in his back legs. I don't know if you can get
Spikes on
this.
his back legs there. I
See
see
these
those.
large spines he's got in the
I'm
back
alright.
legs.
Ah.
He uses them for fighting other males during the breeding season.
And the other one, is this a female?
The other one's a female. The other thing that he'll use these things for is if he was being picked up by a bird or he wasn't very happy, he can actually dig these spines into
They
the
kind of
skin.
look like thorns as well, so I guess it helps with his camouflage there.
But they're more for attacking other males, really.
Does the colour have any relevance?
It just really blends in with the surroundings and the trees and branches and stuff like that. The female's actually a lot lighter. She's just young. She'll get a lot bigger than him.
It looks almost prehistoric, doesn't it? It's quite...
They're really different.
Yeah.
Definitely different, but that's the two of them.
Look at the difference. Jane.
Actually, you don't have these things around your house, because
No, actually,
perhaps that wouldn't impress the ladies,
I
you know.
borrowed these from a friend, but you can see that the female doesn't have the spines in the back legs. And you'll see when she walks, she actually wobbles from side to side.
Why is that?
She's imitating like walking on a branch. The wind blows the branches, they sway from
Right.
side to side, so they sway from side to side even though I'm staying still.
That's quite...
But the other one was
That looks like Nikki on a Friday night after the pub.
I know. Oh. Now that one's got an antenna missing. Will that go back?
It's starting to grow back, you can just see it. I don't know what happened to it, obviously it got caught somewhere.
You told me you burnt it off with a match, Jim. Come on. No, I'm just joking, by the way, before everybody calls in complaining.
No, I don't know what happened to that.
Now, what kind of things do these
Sheep.
insects eat?
All they eat is bramble leaves,
Really?
and that is it.
They don't eat people?
They don't eat people, they don't eat insects, they don't eat any kind of meat at all, they just eat bramble leaves. If you decide to get these things as pets, it's brambles or raspberry leaves, that sort of thing.
Right.
Don't give them, people try and give them privet hedge and stuff that's easy to get. It doesn't do them any good.
What
they really
happened
need brambles.
if you stuck them in with those other things you brought along
They
today?
wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't not.
This
they
could be
don't
a
do
great
anything.
fight on the television.
Interesting.
What about if they were attacked?
No, they wouldn't do anything. They're not aggressive. The only time the males are aggressive is when they're coming up to the breeding season.
What about if we give this one a chainsaw and...
Yeah.
Oh, they might be quite dangerous then.
Even if he was backed in a corner by, say, like a millipede with a spike,
With a flamethrower.
with a spike stapled to its head, what would happen then?
I don't know, we'll try it.
Well, we've got a few minutes left.
Right, I'll show you the millipedes.
Let's have a look at these.
No, I am
Alistair,
running.
you can hold
I am
I'm going to
yeah.
hold the millipede, man.
Don't feel him, man. Come on, it's only... Jim,
I
don't back
ain't going to shake as much as you shook.
The,
Look at
I
them.
always shake.
the millipedes, they don't bite, but they can scrap iodine.
You say can, Jim, but what's the
they
chance
can.
of that? Because you keep saying
Do
can.
they smell for you like dogs? Because this one's going to squirt me straight away if it does.
No, well,
Go on,
I've
Jim, have a
handled this
hold of those
one.
bad
I've handled
boys.
this one a few times and it's been
Oh, it's
fine.
big and fat and
Oh
juicy.
my God, Alistair, good luck.
He's looking at me.
It's like a coiled turd.
When you first pick it up, it'll just stay still.
Will it?
Once it realises
Jim.
nothing's going to attack it, it'll start to
I'm not
move.
going to attack you, big man.
And is this a girl or a boy? Is there any way of telling with these, Jim?
You can actually tell when they're adult. What you do is you look down the pairs of legs. When you get to the 7th set, if they're missing, it's a male.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay.
Oh, he's sucking me or something. I don't know, get it off. You said you weren't going to shake, you big girl blouse. No, I'm only kidding. It tried to eat me, Jim. You lie. It's a man-eater, that one. It's just injected you with poison.
Eating part of me, Jim.
When they walk along, you do actually see them trying to bite you. But
Really?
I've seen that.
They don't. They eat rotten vegetation.
Do they have to?
They've got really soft mouth parts.
I don't know, Alice.
I'm going to die, aren't I, Jim? I'm going to die. You're lying to me. I'm going to die.
We'll take you to the hospital after this. Do you need
I
stitches?
need a tetanus jab,
Do you
definitely.
think you'll be okay?
They're called millipedes, which actually means 1,000 legs. They only actually have between 200 and 300. They don't have 1,000 legs. The way that you can tell the difference between a centipede and a millipede is a centipede has 1 pair of legs per segment. The millipedes have 2 pairs of legs per segment. So you can tell just by looking at them. It's a bad idea to make the mistake and pick up a centipede. Centipedes
bite.
There's some very, very poisonous centipedes, very aggressive.
You said there was ones that can almost kill you.
There are some big centipedes that they can give us a venomous bite and they're really bad. So
Are centipedes and millipedes then very similar to look at?
they are similar to look at if you don't really know the difference. You also get millipedes that are flat-bodied because centipedes are pretty much flat-bodied and you get millipedes that look the same. And it's really the legs, if you look at the legs. But again, if you're not sure, don't pick it up.
Do you have anything at home that would kill you if it bit you?
No, the only thing that I've got that well, a few things that would hurt,
You-
but that would really hurt is a western hognose. I've got a pair of western hognose snakes,
Really?
and they're mildly venomous.
Really?
So they're actually okay to handle. But
Do they like you, do they, Jim? Is it like the cat? Does it recognise you when
No,
you come in?
no.
Does it scratch at the door?
No.
No. Well, what's the point, eh?
Snakes don't recognise people at all.
Do you have to feed it mice?
But they
and stuff like that?
recognise food.
But you're an
They
animal
recognise
lover.
food.
You're an animal lover. Do you, what do you do? Just go out at the back with some cheese and a little mallet, a little fire hammer,
Just go to the local pet shop and buy.
get them by the tail and...
Go to the local pet shop and buy some frozen mice.
You'll scare the
They're
millipede.
already frozen.
And it was squirt iodine. That's what I was wanting. I'm still waiting for this iodine burst into Jim's eyes, and then we got some viewing.
These millipedes, they can live for over 10 years, which is quite surprising for an insect. I mean,
That
that's a
is
long
quite
time.
long.
That's a long time.
What about the stick insects?
Stick insects, you're only talking about 2 or 3 years.
Really?
Can you breed them?
You can breed them, basically you just put the male, female in. As long as the conditions are right, they'll mate.
Some Barry White, some sign sheets.
The female will lay eggs in the
Candles.
substrate. Like if you put like.
I
peat in
want
the
your
bottom.
legs all over me and your antennas. Go on, baby. Go on, stick your thorns into me.
They won't kill each other, will they?
No.
No.
They
What about
won't-
the millipedes?
Right.
I know.
Do they?
That'd be
I
a
know,
really
how
slow,
do
really
they-
crap fight.
Yeah, how
Well,
do they breed?
They breed. when
What's
I was-
millipede fashion?
I was saying that you know a male because the 7 pair of legs are missing. What actually happens is those legs develop into the reproductive organs. So when they mate, the 2 of them have got to get lined up and get their feet
So like
exactly in
missionary,
line.
missionary,
So
though.
it takes
Doggy
them
style, more
80s.
doggy style.
It takes them ages to get lined up because they've got all these legs to coordinate.
That'd be some position of the fortnight in more,
I'm gonna have a go when I get home. My girlfriend's, she's having to go millipede position. I don't care what she says.
Millipede style, I swear to God, you'll come 1,000 times this way, baby. Let's go.
Now, how do they actually have baby millipedes then?
They lay eggs.
They lay
The
eggs.
females lay eggs. What they do is they burrow down into the soil and they make like basically like a little cave or a cocoon, and they lay the eggs in there, and then they leave them, and they hatch and come up through the soil.
That's
So
it.
basically you just got tiny little millipedes.
He knows his animals, this
He
guy. huh?
certainly does, and if you want to know more about his animals, then you can contact Jim
Yes,
through his
you can
website.
contact me through the website www.petsnakes.co.uk. If you happen to be in Falkirk this Saturday and Sunday, you'll actually see me in the shopping centre. I'll be in there, I'll have some snakes, I'll have some Argentinian horned frogs, and if anybody wants to come up and ask me questions, feel free. If you want to come up and handle the snakes, feel free, they don't bite. So I've met quite a lot of people.
Unless Jim sicks them on you.
They can piss down you though, can't they? I've had experience.
It can happen, but the snakes that I take are really well handled, they're well used to it.
Take
they're fine.
waterproof trousers, guys. Take a shell suit.
Well, fantastic stuff, Jim. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. Everyone give it up for Jim Lynn. Well, I have to tell you that very own India, Jen said he was so sick of us, he sent along 2 daft birds. He sent along 2 people with him here as well, so we can speak to them. Yes, we are joined here by Craig and Jenny with some fantastic creatures here. How you doing, guys?
Fine, fine.
Excellent. Now, what have you brought along for us here?
This one's a Harris hawk.
A Harris hawk.
Yeah.
Right, okay, is it something you can keep in the house?
No, no.
And why not?
Unless you've got laminate floors, what you've got in your
Unless
house.
you've got because like it was going to poo in me earlier on, wasn't it? You know, it was having a wee stand about my head. It's a fantastic creature. Where does it originate from?
They're from Central and South America, originally. But a lot of falconers have got them over here.
Now, just tell the viewers how old it is. I think
This
it looks
bird's
a bit
about 24 weeks old, that's all.
unbelievable.
How long does it last? Oh my God.
As long as the batteries. They can live up to about 25 years in captivity. A lot less when they're in the wild, but in about 25 years.
You would
captivity.
imagine for the age of it, it's only going to be that high, you know, it's really small.
But they grow very, very quickly. They've got to grow very, very quickly to survive in the wild, you see. So
And how big do they grow?
this is the size she'll get. This is as big as she'll get.
Excellent. What have you brought along here, Jenny?
This is a European eagle owl, called Buddha.
Hello, Buddha.
And I hope it doesn't bite, Jenny.
Oh,
That's the
well,
only thing I care about.
sometimes you can have a quick nip.
So this is not your normal barn owl then, is it?
It certainly is not, no. It's a bit more, not necessarily ferocious, but it's a far bigger bird than your average barn owl or tawny owl.
And where do these come from? Where do they live?
What one you got?
Sorry, these ones originate from Scandinavia. You can get them in France and Spain, but mostly Scandinavian. Yeah.
So tell us a bit about where you keep them, Craig.
We've got a centre, it's called the Scottish Raptor Centre. We've just opened it up about a month ago. And when the Raptor Centre is ready to try and take off, we opened it up feeling that a lot of the other centres didn't have your hands-on. We actually like to get people to put fly the bird and get the bird on their fish, you see. So we go along that way as well, and we've got the reptile centre in there as well. And that's where Jim asked us up tonight.
Excellent. Why do we keep these birds? Why do we keep them in captivity?
A lot of birds are kept in captivity just for a breeding programme so they can go back out to the wild. These birds are exceptional falconry birds, Harris hawks. Most of your falconers in Britain will have a Harris hawk or has had a Harris hawk at one time. Very intelligent, They're the only bird of prey that actually lives and hunts in a family group. There's no other bird of prey in the world that does this. That's why harrisocks are so popular. So they're very good and entertaining birds as well.
And how many of them left in the world? Do they like high?
No, there's a lot of harrisocks left in the world. There's a lot of harrisocks. In America, they're as popular as crows. In Central America, as popular as crows.
So can people come and visit the animals, the birds, sorry, in the centre?
Definitely, yes, definitely. As I say,
Is it just all birds, yes?
No, we've got a reptile section as well. We've got a parakeet section as well. We've got gun dog displays, you know, different things. There's everything to see at the place. We've just opened it in a month and we're getting people through all the time.
Where is it?
It's in Kinross, in between Perth and Dunfermline.
Excellent. What is the feeding? How do you control their feeding?
Well, basically, I'm to talk for the eagle owl. Basically, deep frozen chicks, mice and rats. Generally, that's their main staple diet in captivity, yeah. In the wild, they'll take anything from rabbits, rats in the wild, but basically they'll go for rats, hares, and rabbits. That's medium-sized birds.
We'd love it up here, Pauline, all the rabbits and hamsters and everything you've got out there, outside the front door.
I see that it's quite easy handled. You know, you can take the family along here. This one is just ready for a fly around the studio. You know, can like if you're bringing along like parents want to bring along their kids at home, can they be handled?
Definitely. Kids haven't got any preconceptions of birds, so they don't know, you know, that can hurt them. And what we like to do is, as we say, that it's very young, and we'll hand rear them from basically 12 days old. Jenny actually took that one out of the egg. I mean, it was actually struggling to get the egg, and Jenny rolled it out of the egg. And
are they very small, the staff?
They're about 3.5 inches.
I feel the need to pet
Like
it.
a wee chick.
Do you not feel the need to pet it, Louise?
I do, but I'm a bit terrified.
But they don't, because they're hand-reared, they actually think that they're humans, you see. What we call imprinting is hand-reared. So Jenny hand-reared this one, and along with another two of its brothers and sisters. So they don't, I mean, you do that. It's not
So they'll
trying to
never
hurt
be
you.
sent out into the wild?
No, but they could fend for themselves. But they could fend for themselves in the wild, no problem.
Right.
Do you know, I would like to thank you for bringing those beautiful creatures along with you. Thanks very much. And keep in touch and you can bring out some more stuff in the future. So give it up for our very own Johnny and Craig. Fantastic. We're just he's brought some creepy things for this evening. Yes, it's time for our very own
Indiana Jones.
Well, hey!
The animal man himself. Hello, Jim.
Hiya, how you doing?
All right, now what's this you've got tonight? Because it looks a wee bit strange.
It's a wee bit boring. Right, tonight I've brought on a couple of wee lizards. They're just babies and they're called leopard geckos.
They're called leopard gecko lizards.
And they're the first thing I've had on the show
Well,
that
that's a tongue
Louise
twister.
has said they're nice.
I think they are. I think they're lovely looking.
So I'll let you see them.
Right, okay.
Out of all the things you brought on, at least they're colourful.
Can we all pick this up?
No, I wouldn't advise
You
it.
can pick them up,
Now,
but you
viewers,
need to
have a
be
good
quite
look at them.
careful.
I think they're good looking. Because they're all nice, bright colours and sparkle. I mean, all the rest are all brown and green and yucky, muddy colours.
Can I pick them up?
It'd be better if I picked them up. They're just, because they're young, they're a bit sort of jumpy, as you can see.
Why can I not pick them up?
You need to be really careful with them because their tail can actually come off.
Oh! Would it grow back?
It'll grow back, but it won't grow back the same as it is now. It'll grow back short and sort of stubby. It won't look as good.
Excellent. So what are they? Are they wee boys or wee girls?
You can't really tell at the moment, they're too young.
So how can you tell the difference between a male and a female?
Right, you need to wait until they're about a year old before you can tell. The males, the head shape's a bit different for the female.
So it's a different head then for a male and a female?
The male's head's a bit wider and bigger. I thought you might find that funny. But the males are also bigger than the females as well. The whole lizard is bigger. Usually it's always the female animal that's a bit bigger for laying eggs, stuff like that. But with the leopard geckos, it's actually the male.
So Jim, what were you telling me earlier about one male mating 15 females?
Oh no.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
they say
Sounds like a night out the dance in that one.
Jim would love to be that, he said, that lizard.
we said that I mean, you know how like they say like breeding like rabbits?
Yeah.
I think leopard geckos are actually worse because you can't keep two adult male leopard geckos together because they'll fight.
They will fight.
They will fight. And you can keep 15 females with one male and they'll mate with all of them.
Oh, how many guys would like to be in that leopard gecko's
that's what I
position?
mean. The reincarnation that exists, I want to be a leopard
Is that what you
gecko.
want to be a leopard gecko? Do you want to be a male or a female leopard
I think
gecko?
a male, I think.
You know? You want to be a male one? Do you think you'd be able... How long do they live then? Because you think all that...
They'll live about 8 years. They'll start breeding at about 18 months.
That's very young, isn't it?
But they only lay 2 eggs at a time. And when the female's pregnant, you can actually see the eggs underneath in her belly.
All right.
But she'll lay eggs, and then about 2 weeks later, they'll mate again, and she'll lay another 2 eggs. and another
Goodness
2.
sake, she's a hard-worked woman.
She'll lay about 12 eggs in a season.
Oh, my goodness.
Wait, I think I'm bad with one in 9 months.
Another sort of thing that's a bit different about the leopard geckos is they shed their skin, like lizards shed their skin, but the leopard geckos actually eat their shed skin.
Oh, they're not clean then, are they?
Well, they're actually very clean, but they eat the skin because they get protein off it.
So where do they originate from then?
They originate from Pakistan and India. They live in sort of scrubland, sort of semi-desert. They're actually nocturnal. If you see, they've got quite big eyes. They would normally hide during the day, and they'll come out at night and they feed on crickets and stuff like that.
Right. So what's the colour about then? Is that just for...
Well, when they actually just hatch, you can see the bands there, like the yellow and the darker colour. When they hatch, that's what they look like. They're yellow and black stripes, bands, and then what happens is they start to get these spots. When they're adult, they're totally like spotted. They look like leopards.
Yeah,
that's
the
why
colour disappears.
That's why they're called leopard geckos.
How tall can they go?
How tall?
How long?
How long can they grow?
All right. A large-sized male would be about 10 inches long.
Excellent, you know. But the thing is, you know, like 10 inches, right, we keep on getting this. What is 10 inches again?
That's about that size.
That's 10 inches, right, excellent. So, like, that's about as tall as they grow then?
That's
What about your environment? Would you keep them in at home then?
Right, they need quite a specific environment. They need a hot spot in the tank, like a light or something that brings the temperature up to about 90 degrees. They need a really good heat that they can sit under and bask. The substrate, that's like what you put in the bottom of the tank. When they're babies, you would just use kitchen roll like that. But when they're older, you use calci sand. It's a special type of sand that if they eat it, they actually digest it. Because you can have problems if they try and grab a cricket, they miss the cricket and grab a mouthful of sand and they swallow it. They get what they call compaction in their gut, and it can actually kill them, so you need to watch.
And just quickly, how much would they cost?
This size, about £25 each.
Which is actually not too bad, isn't it?
It's not bad. You get different types. You get ones that they call carrot tails. The tails are actually bright orange.
And there's a Johnny long legs.
Well, really, I know I was actually going to say that. Would that lizard quickly snap up that Danny long leg?
We would try and eat it. We would try and eat it.
Oh, okay.
Well, thanks very much, Jim. That was very entertaining.
Yes, Jim Lindy's always a pleasure having you in the building. I think it must have been the wine. Give it up for Jim Lindy!
You can't be as nice as my wee Ebony.
No, I doubt it. I doubt it. I've not got as much hair.
Well, I think you have. Is that why you're wearing a
That's why I wear a cap.
He's now been exposed. It's not for any other reason.
She's probably more hair than you, Jim, honestly.
You know, nothing like, that's an insult for you.
No, yeah, there you go.
No.
Have you ever been insulted?
Just there and now.
But with Louise? Saying that,
No, but you're not baldy. I just mean you're kind of... You're going thin and old. I think that's what the cap's about,
don't try
Jim.
and make up for it.
I think that's what the cap's about. But anyway, what's this Petsnakes all about in your hat?
This week, for a wee change, I thought I wouldn't bring an animal on because of the caller we had last week. If people saw it, last week a guy had phoned up and saying that one of his friends had a baby snapping turtle. He didn't know anything about it, was feeding it Parma ham. I actually checked up on the internet and had a look at some stuff. I mean, snapping turtles, easily, they could take your leg off or your arm off when they're adult size. I just thought I'd maybe talk about animals that people buy and they just don't know what they're doing. I mean, the thing is, it's not illegal to buy them. That's the sort of worrying thing as well.
But there should be restrictions.
I would say there should be guidelines. The other sort of problem areas are the really big snakes, what they call the giant snakes, like Burmese pythons, reticulated pythons. They'll grow to like 25, 30 feet long.
Well, that's a big snake.
I mean, you don't
very much.
you don't appreciate how big that is until you actually see
You've got a
them.
wee snake.
Thanks very much.
I mean, these sort of snakes are just unbelievable when you see
Yeah.
them. They're really powerful. I mean, they could kill you. Seriously, they could kill you.
And they start off very
They
small.
start off small. People buy them in a pet shop and think, oh, that's
How
nice.
small?
About 2 foot.
About Ian McCall small.
How small?
About. They start,
As small as Ian?
no, not that wee. No, they'll start off about 2 foot-ish, but I mean they grow quickly. You find it, but once, once
Well, when's he going to grow? He's
Oh, I
now
don't
what
know.
age, Ian?
12.
12 plus, I think.
you find it when people buy the snakes, if they get to about 10, 12 feet, that's when they start to think this thing's getting too big for the house.
Right.
Then they try starting to sell them.
She's still thinking about Ian.
I know.
That's another one she fancies. But I don't know about after this show.
Another one
when
on the
we've just slagged his manhood.
But I mean,
Anyway.
Just put me off for life, thanks very much.
the people,
sorry, Jim.
when the snakes get to that sort of size, they think, they think like, this is getting too big, so they start to advertise it.
Yeah.
And you find that at first it starts off like 10-foot Burmese python, £100, and then maybe 2 or 3 weeks later it's 10-foot Burmese python, £50, and then it's free to good home. And you get people buying them, they think, oh, it's just like a big snake, like they're impressed with like the snake. So they buy it, they don't realise that the snake's only half grown. I mean, they'll go to like 25 feet. You need a room to keep those sort of things in. And people just don't appreciate the problem.
See, that's what happens with Pauline. She goes to the nightclub, takes off that small snake, and wakes up in the morning with a big massive snake beside her. Isn't it, Pauline?
Never been rude.
Anyway, Jim, what else? Don't worry, darling, don't worry.
Oh, God.
So, is that right, Jim?
Right.
So the warning here is, don't take home a small snake. And it might grow out of proportion. And then you might end up in the same state as I am. Oh.
Jim,
I've never
sorry.
seen Pauline as quiet.
I know, she's gobsmacked.
I know.
I just can't believe this, actually. Now.
Anyway, Jim, we're back on to snakes.
Right. Well,
So-
it isn't just snakes. Iguanas, there's a big problem with iguanas. Again, it's they buy like a small green lizard and think that's what it's going to be. Again, they grow to like maybe about 6 foot long.
What's an iguana?
It's a type of lizard. They're pretty big.
Oh, those little green.
They start off as those little green, but they grow to like 6 foot long. I mean, they're big animals. Again, they've got pretty bad bites. They've got claws. They'll whip you with their tails, stuff like that. They take a lot of sort of looking after. People buy them and think that they feed on cat food and dog food. They're actually vegetarian, but they will eat meat. It's a bit like maybe having a baby and saying, oh, it eats chocolate, we'll just give it chocolate for the rest of
So
its
in other
life.
words, people don't have a clue what they're letting themselves in forever.
I mean,
They don't know
that's sort of why I started the Petsnakes and the website. It's so that people can contact me and ask things before they buy. And I can give them advice. I can tell them where to look for advice as well. I can help with problems and stuff like that. I mean, I speak to a lot of people. I've heard a lot of stories, just things that are unbelievable that people are
What's
doing.
that one you were telling me earlier about the snake eating the girl's arm?
Right, okay. Snakes, they're very instinctive animals. If they smell food like a mouse or a rat and they see movement, they'll go for it. And they'll miss the mouse most of the time. And I know a girl that tried to feed a 6 foot Burmese python, and she's about 5'1". She was 18, I think, at the time. She tried to feed a Burmese python, a rat, like a dead rat, by hand. Like, she picked it up by the tail and just basically jiggled the thing. And what happened was the snake, it hadn't been feeding, that was the problem. She was trying to get the thing to feed, and it eventually struck, and it missed the rat, and it grabbed her wrist, and it tried to constrict her, and she totally panicked.
So tell us about constricting her.
Well, what the snake will do is, basically it'll smell food and it'll grab what it thinks is the food. But they aren't very bright, and it's an automatic instinct. Once they grab what they think is food, they'll coil themselves round the food. then what they do to constrict, people think that snakes constrict, they crush bones and stuff. They don't. What they actually do is they'll go around, say a big snake got me around the rib cage, it would tighten up. When I breathe out, my ribs go in slightly, it tightens up, so I can't breathe out, and then I breathe out again, and it tightens up. So basically what they do is they suffocate you.
Oh my God.
And the snake wouldn't realise it wasn't food until you had stopped breathing and your heart had stopped. That's the trigger that they think, right, okay, so it's safe to let the thing go, it won't run away. And then they think, wait a minute, this isn't a rat, and they just leave you. I mean, it has happened, it's happened in America. I mean,
So what's the message to people out there then, Jim?
the message really, if you're just getting into reptiles and stuff like that, go for the small stuff. Ask people, get in touch with people on the web, have a look at my website, get in touch with me if you want, and get advice. Don't just see something in the pet shop and think, that's nice, I'll buy it. Because you usually find that you spend more money on the setup for the animal than you do on the animal. You maybe spend £50 on a snake, you maybe spend another £100 on the actual setup for the snake. There's a lot of things that you just sort of learn as time goes on. So if you can actually get in touch with somebody that's sort of been there, done it, they can guide you through the sort of pitfalls that you might have.
Okay, Jim.
But don't forget, you can email Jim Lind, or you can email us here tonight at LanarkshireTV.com. And it's Jim Lind! I see you've got lots of little boxes for us this evening.
Well, I decided to bring something, just a variety of different corn snakes. When I was on, the first week I was on, I had said that the corn snake, if you're thinking about buying a snake as a pet, the corn snake's the best one to buy. But I thought I would bring some babies, just to let you see what you would buy if you were going into a pet shop to buy a baby snake. So I'll let you see some of them.
Let's have a look.
I've got 6 different types here. There's actually over 70 different types of corn snake now.
Really?
What's happening is people are breeding fancy colours, fancy patterns, and coming up with new ones every year. So it's really hard to keep in touch with what's going on. And I knew this would happen. I'll sellotape this box and I can't get the sellotape.
That thing's eager to get out.
It's actually that small, it can actually fit through the small hole.
I know.
It is surprising. In fact, I could just keep this one in the box since it's actually out. This is a crimson corn snake. This is actually a very new type of corn snake.
Right.
The underneath of this snake's red. Normally it would be black and white. The babies, they change colour quite a bit as they get older. It'll look much better when it's older. This snake's about 3 months old. So this would be the sort of size that you would buy. And it would feed on baby mice.
That would feed on baby mice at that size?
It'll feed on one pinky, as they call them. It's a baby mouse without fur.
Oh, no.
It would feed on one pinky every 4 days.
It's a wee bit. You know, I've actually noticed a lot of the stars. Brittany actually done it just last week, didn't she?
That's right, the music video awards.
And they've actually now said that Brittany is absolutely wonderful because she surrounded herself with a massive snake. Now, I think Nicola and I could be sitting here with big snakes wrapped round about us, couldn't we? You know? And we could be quite happy with big snakes.
Could.
You know, I think that would, like, move our cred.
I don't know. It would maybe move your cred in some circles, but snake keepers it definitely wouldn't. The big snakes, bad idea. Don't put them around your neck. I mean, they could actually strangle you quite easily. So that's my personal view on like the large snakes. It's really just avoid them unless you really know what you're doing. Get something like a corn snake, something small. Learn from that and then see what you think. I mean, know what you're doing before you get anything like that.
I mean, that's what I noticed when she done the music video awards. She kept her arms out here holding the snake right out, you know.
The snake that she had was an albino Burmese python. It was only a young snake. It was only a young one.
You've got a wee teensy one over there.
I've got, well, right, like I said, these are all babies. They're sort of varying ages. This one here...
Don't take that personally when I was saying, like, Jim, you've got a small one over there.
I've been on here often.
Can you get that one out? Is that still too... Oh!
This one here is a ghost corn snake. The reason it's called a ghost is basically because the colour is really, really faded on it. And this is...
Look at it, it's a wee niggle, isn't it?
This is about as small as you would buy.
Oh, that's the smallest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Fast.
But that,
oh my
this
God.
is the thing, baby corn snakes, baby snakes, it will move really fast.
Oh, what? You know?
It isn't a good idea to handle them very much.
No.
They don't like being handled very much.
You see that?
When you feed this, you would feed it every 4 days. This will take a baby mouse. You would feed it every 4 days. After you've fed it, you wouldn't handle it at all, because basically what would happen is it would regurgitate, which means it would bring the pinky back up, and it wouldn't get any nutrients from it.
So how many pinkies does it eat in
It would
average
just
a
take
week?
1 pinky every 4 days, so 1 in a bit a week.
Look at it, you're trying to get it back in. Look, it's not wanting to go back in.
They are really nervous at that age. You need to be really careful with them. I wouldn't advise anybody to have them for their kids, like purely for their kids. I wouldn't. A kid would be too ham-handed with them. Very, very easy to injure them.
It's too much like a worm for me, so let me see something a bit more substantial.
Right. To give you an idea, this one here is a reverse Okatee corn snake. It's actually my own. I forgot to mention that all these snakes that I've got here, I actually got a loan of them from Ardee Pet Care Centre in Bathgate. They are, as far as I'm concerned, they are the main people in Scotland to deal with reptiles. They breed various different snakes. They hatch about 500 to 600 snakes a year. They know their subject inside out. This is what they call a reverse Okatee corn snake. Again, you can see it's still it moves compared to the first one I had on. Once they get bigger and they get used to getting handled, they slow down, they don't bother. But when they're young, especially when they're that size, they're really nervous. So you need to watch. They'll also try and bite at that size.
Really?
But they'll just bounce off your finger. They're too small to do anything. I mean, they're just too wee.
It's cuddled itself.
This is what they do. They catch themselves on your watch strap. They catch themselves on your jeans, on the loops. You need to watch that you don't try and pull it. It's not actually catching itself. What it's doing is it's hanging on. It'll put its tail. You actually see the tail moving, separate for the head, feeling about, trying to find somewhere to hang on to.
I mean, it's a cracking mark.
This one here is a year old. Just to give you an idea, compared to the size of these ones here, in a year's time, those snakes there will be this size. So they grow pretty quick.
I'm really impressed with the colour. Can we get them actually colour coordinated for like every room in your house?
They haven't come up with blue yet, I don't think.
Have they not got a blue? That's all right, I don't have a blue room in my house.
Green.
And I don't have a green room in my house, but I have a purple room, I have a red room.
Red, well, we've got the crimson corn snake there. The belly underneath that is red, whereas you see like this one here, if you don't know if you can see, it's white. A lot of them are black and white. The red one's something really different. If you're buying like a baby corn snake, it depends what colour it is on the price. You get like a normal corn snake, that's about £30 for a hatchling. I've actually got one there called the caramel corn, and it's pretty unusual.
What one's that?
I probably won't be able to find it, but...
Well, that one's not like you got. No!
You like to hang on.
Give us a wee quick look at that. Do you know what I would like you to do actually, you know, because we're seeing this one here, and I don't want you to disturb them too much, it's a wee under there. What's the biggest snake you've ever had?
The biggest snake that I've ever kept, it's probably a boa constrictor or a carpet python. How many people would it take to hold that? A boa constrictor? The one that I had, just one person.
Really? Just one person?
It wasn't fully grown.
Right, great. Like, what's the biggest snake you could get us then?
The biggest snake that I could possibly get hold of, it would take a bit of organising, is an 18.5-foot Burmese python.
Jeez. Oh!
Right, this is a caramel corn snake. Again, because it's a baby, the colours aren't there, but you can sort of see that the front of it is a sort of yellowy colour, whereas the back is grey. But that yellow colour will develop and it will become a sort of a caramel colour. That's why they're called caramel corns. But this one here, the normal corn snake's £30. This one's £100.
I'll tell you what I would like you to do. See, the next time you come back along and join us, I would like you to bring the two and compare the sizes. We could compare the size of two things. You know, it's always a pleasure having you in here. This one's a wee bit good. Give it up for John. Would that not be brilliant? Get a wee incy-wincy steak and get the big boa, and I'll have the big one, you have the wee one. Hello. What do you need to my mummy send me to the shop? Only be a £5 and we run 90 money, so I could borrow 20
pence. You didn't even get to keep the change.
I don't even know messages, and I get attacked. I'm glad you're here with animals because I got attacked by an Alsatian pup today, which came up and it bought, see the plastic bag I was carrying the rolls in, and it grabbed the bag and all the rolls fell on the ground. I was really upset. But I dusted them over and I gave them to my mum, and she didn't know the difference because I
They were
couldn't
still a wee bit wet.
I couldn't borrow any more money, you know, I didn't borrowed money off my neighbours. Thank you, I love you forever. What's this? They're not dogs.
Okay. Right, this week I've got a couple of lizards on here. They're called Euromastics.
Is that that plastic surgery you had?
Aye.
Euromastix?
Euromastics.
It's very painful, actually.
Can bring them out so you get a better view. These actually come from North Africa and round about Egypt.
From Egypt?
They look a bit like
there you go.
tortoises.
They are very like tortoises and turtles if you look at their head. Basically, this is maybe what a tortoise would look like without its shell sort of thing.
A homeless tortoise, as it were.
Basically, aye.
It's quite sad, actually, isn't it?
These are adults. This is an adult pair that I've got here. This is the male, and one lying in there's the female.
Ah, right, okay, so they're in there together, and this one was lying on top of the other one. Were they breeding as we were speaking?
They were eating cereal, obviously. Is that what you have for your breakfast, Polly?
It is actually, it's very nice. Would you like a little bit?
Quite tasty.
Not.
I felt it.
So, you know, how do they breed then?
Same as the rest of the things, exactly the same. A male and a female.
Well, I don't really know, because like I had turned them upside down earlier on, I don't see any
Right.
different parts.
Well, actually, you do turn them upside down to sex them.
Right.
I don't know if the camera can get really close here.
I'm sure it
If
can.
you look at the male's legs there, don't know what camera I'm on.
Crocodile Rock.
There's little pores along his legs and the inside there. If you can see, that actually tells you that he's a male.
He looks like he's enjoying
He'll
that.
actually leave a scent using those glands so that he can mark his territory and stuff like that. The other thing about him is these two bulges.
What's that?
That's his hemipenes.
What's a hemipene?
Hemipene, it's the same as snakes and lizards. It's half a penis, basically. Hemipene.
So he's like Mark, our cameraman.
No, he's got two. He's got two penises.
He's got two? Oh, Mr. Lucky.
Eyes, he's got 2 eyes.
I don't know, I didn't see the show on Monday, so I don't know if Mark's like that.
Lucky.
But just about all the lizards and snakes are the same. They're basically designed the same. The reason that they've got two is it just basically when they're mating, it depends what side the female's at. And it's as simple as that.
Is it like you'll sleep in my end of the bed and I'll sleep in your end of the bed sort of everything, no?
Well, basically it's just whatever side the female's at, they'll use that side.
How often do they breed?
They'll breed like during the mating season. They've got a certain season during the year that they will breed. The female, she'll lay anywhere between 8 and 20 eggs. And again, they don't look after them or anything like that. Like most reptiles, they just bury them and leave them in the incubator.
How big are they when they're born then, when they're hatched?
They're pretty small. They're only about an inch, something like that. Really small.
What kind of conditions would you keep them in?
Right, they need to be kept in very, very warm conditions. In the wild, I mean, they come from like the Sahara and places like that. You'll find them in the Sahara. You're talking about temperatures about 120 degrees in your tank. At the warm end, at the hot end, 120 degrees for basking. The cool end would be about 90.
Right.
But you can drop the temperature slightly at night. You can't keep water in beside them because they'll actually get respiratory infections because of the moisture in the air. Because if you imagine desert conditions, they aren't used to it, so it causes them problems. So what you do is put water in maybe for 2 or 3 hours every 2 or 3 days. Or what you can do is spray the inside of the vivarium in the morning, just mist it with water, and that's like dew in their natural environment and it'll evaporate with the heat.
Right, interesting you saying that with the water. If they get sick that easily, how much would it cost for if they do get sick?
Well, as everybody knows, I mean, vets are really expensive, but the big problem is going to be finding a vet that knows anything about them. You'd be lucky to find a vet that could spell it.
Are they quite rare? I mean, we can't even pronounce it.
I mean, they're not rare in the wild or anything like that, but they're pretty unusual as pets. It's just I brought them on just to let people see them, really, because a lot of people will never see anything like this. I mean, they're really unusual. They're really unusual.
Are they quite docile? I mean, do they do a lot?
Very docile. They just basically bask all the time, or sleep, or hide.
Do you have to keep them separately, or can they share tanks?
You can't keep 2 males in the same.
Right.
The males will fight. They're very aggressive. Sometimes even males and females will fight. So you need to watch, see how they get on.
And are they monogamous? Do they stay with the one partner their whole life?
No. They would mate with
They'll mate
just
with anybody.
a female.
Oh, there you go, Pauline.
Can I take this one out?
Just pick it up.
Right, okay.
Do you have to?
Is there a special way of lifting it?
With your hands, hopefully.
Basically, it does help. Just love support under there.
Okay, thank you very much. It actually seems to have, this is going to sound silly, but the colouring seems to have actually changed.
It hasn't changed because earlier on it was actually this one that you were
Is that exactly what it is then? You gave me a different one to hold.
The male here, he's got a sort of yellow colour on his back, and the female's basically black. I mean, that's one way that you can tell just by looking at them. You can, the one with the sort of lighter colour's the male. The males are brighter.
If you wanted to buy one of these, what would you have to do, a special breeder?
You would be able to find them in reptile shops, maybe. You would really need to go in and ask and see if they can find a supplier. We'd be talking about £80 for a baby.
£80?
But the setup, again, you need to make sure you get the proper setup and have it set up right.
Approximately altogether, what would it cost?
You're probably talking about £250, something like that.
And do people buy them just for pet reasons, or do they buy them to breed?
The thing is with reptiles, they aren't really what I would class as pets.
Right.
They're more, people are just interested in them, they're quite happy just to sit and watch them. It's a bit like marine fish or tropical fish. You wouldn't really say they were pets, people just like to watch them.
Got her eyes
there's
closed.
quite a lot to learn about them. One of the unusual things about them is they actually eat birdseed.
They eat birdseed?
It looks really weird to see something this size sticking its face in some birdseed. Mostly vegetables. It's mostly like fruit, mixed vegetables, various stuff like that, and the occasional mealworm, but you don't want to give them. They can't really. It's unhealthy for them to eat too much protein, so you don't want to give them live food much.
What other reptiles are they threatened by? I mean, in the wild, if they're kept?
In the wild, I mean, there's nothing really that much.
Snakes?
Well, snakes would take them.
You would as well, wouldn't you?
It's lovely. I think you've got to love all creatures, you know. Doesn't matter, you know, if it's
They've got very long tongues.
It's not as long as mine. Look, I'll just intimidate it.
I agree with you, definitely. Just leave it at that.
Just quickly, Jim, sorry, is it advisable to have them as pets?
I wouldn't advise them as a first-time pet. If you're into reptiles and you're looking for something different, I would say that they're pretty good. They're easily handled and stuff like that, but again, you need to know your stuff. It's not a beginner's sort of thing.
I'd like to thank you for bringing along something totally unusual for us this evening. Give it up for everyone in the gym and the building this evening. He'll be telling us all about the feeding of snakes, and he is going to demonstrate feeding the snake tonight. Now what he's going to be doing, he's actually going to be feeding the snake a mouse to see, and he's going to be telling us about. But it is a dead mouse, okay? We've made all the checks here. There is no cruelty to any animals at all involved in this. But if you are feeling a little bit horrible about it, or if you are my cousin and you're petrified by the snakes, we do advise you to keep your eyes closed for the next section, okay? But it's yeah, it is, isn't it? It's time to go over there now.
Yeah, my friend, how are you?
He's in here, friend.
Do you know what? I'm going to change your name to Jungle Jim. Where's this Indiana Jim? Surely
I don't
Jungle
think that
Jim
works.
Indiana Jim. Surely Jungle Jim's better. But anyway, Indiana Jim, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good, good. What have you been up to?
Oh, quite a lot actually. I do a lot of going around shopping centres and things at weekends, and I was in Falkirk last weekend. I'm in the Gyle this weekend coming. Really? Basically, just I take some snakes and bits and bobs with me, and talk to people. They can ask me any questions they like about stuff, and I'll answer them. I sometimes get people looking for advice, that sort of thing.
I've got to be honest, Jim, I'm kind of excited about what we're doing tonight. I've been told to be serious, so I'm going to behave myself, but I'm kind of excited at the same time.
This is probably the part where this is when you decide whether you're going to get a snake or not. A lot of people ask me these things and they're really interested, but when they ask what they eat, that's when they think, oh, I don't know if I could do that. But it is quite a...
I think it's
a major thing. It is a major thing that you need to know what they feed on. You need to know how to do it properly. There are ways to do it and ways not to do it.
Because you say people get snakes and try feeding them vegetables and stuff.
I know, I've known people that have bought a snake, don't know what they eat, find out they eat mice, and try and feed them in bits like frozen veg and stuff. I mean, it'll just die. It won't happen.
Can I actually ask you, why do you feed them dead mice?
Right, the reason for feeding dead mice is simply there's no need to feed live. To feed live, I mean, it's just cruel, basically. It's as simple as that. I mean, to put a live mouse in beside a snake is just cruel. There's no way that mouse is going to escape. The other problem is, if the snake isn't hungry, the mouse will actually attack the snake because it's fighting for its life. So the mouse could actually damage or kill the snake. So it's just a situation that you don't want to be in. There's no need for it. I mean, a lot of people that I speak to, they think that you feed live mice to snakes. It's actually illegal to feed live mice to snakes.
See, It doesn't make me feel squeamish, it makes me feel sad.
Well, I think you made a good point before earlier, Jim, when you said we eat burgers, we eat chicken. It's exactly the same thing. So what's the big deal?
It's like if somebody's feeding their cat, they feed it cat food and they don't think twice about it. They don't think what's actually in that tin.
Yeah.
The problem with the snakes is you actually see the animal. The snakes digest the whole animal. They're designed to digest the whole animal.
Unfortunately, Jim, it's nature.
So that's it. I mean, it's just that is what they eat, and that's fact of life. If you can't handle that, don't buy a snake.
You say there's probably a chance they might not be hungry tonight, though. You said that because you only feed them once a week.
They only get fed once a week. The baby one gets fed every 4 days. But the thing is that I've actually brought them out of their normal enclosures, so they may or they may not feed. But I'm going to show you basically how to feed them. They might not take, I don't know. I'll just have to try and see. So
should we bring them over?
They might not even eat it.
They might not. It just depends.
Where do you store your mice?
I've got my own freezer that I keep them in. Just a small cube freezer that I keep all my food stuff in.
What do you think it tastes like yourself?
I haven't got a clue.
Chicken.
I don't want to find it.
Tastes like chicken.
Chicken. Everything tastes like
Let's bring
chicken.
them over.
You've never had just a little tail or?
No.
We should bring them over. Let's bring them over and see.
Have you ever tasted dog food, but you know, because sometimes it's
I ate a lot of
quite
dog
nice,
biscuits
actually.
when my kids. Remember that? Went to that state of eating Winnerlot biscuits. It's a long story.
It's a long story. We're incredibly poor.
Jim, just
I
explain
don't
to us
know.
what you're going to be
what
doing here.
I'm going to do is I've got a hatchling. I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago. I brought on 6 different hatchling snakes just to let people see them. Then I went through the setup a couple of weeks after that, the week after that. Now this is the feeding. It's the only other thing that I haven't touched on. So I'm going to show you what you feed a baby snake and how you feed it, or how I feed it, and why I feed it the way I feed it. So the baby snakes, what they feed on is baby mice, which are called pinkies.
Now remember, these mice are already dead.
The mice are bought, they're bought frozen, and you just buy them frozen and you thaw them out. The pinkies, you just, they take maybe about an hour at room temperature to thaw out. Now, I always use tweezers to pick them up because I don't want to get my scent on the mouse.
You don't like your scent on it?
Because it can put the snake off the food because it doesn't smell quite like mice, so they won't eat. So what I'll do is I'll just put it in. Now, this hatchling's really nervous, but I don't know. We'll see if it gets the scent. There you go. What it's doing there is it's actually defending, it's not feeding.
It's just defending? But it's
It's
afraid of
basically
it?
attacking it.
Why is he attacking it?
It's just that because it's moving. Some snakes, if you put things in and they move, the snakes actually scared them. The hatchling snakes, they're scared of them.
Would it attack you, Jim?
If my hands smell of mice or hamsters or rabbits, if I'd picked up a pet and then didn't wash my hands and put my hand in beside the snake, there's a good chance that it would bite. That snake isn't going to feed. You can see the way it's sitting. It was coiled up. It's quite defensive. It can smell that pinky now.
Yeah.
That's it thinking it's getting fed now. It's just realised that there's food in there.
Will it be able to smell?
It'll find it later on and take it.
I just feel
So that's basically your hatchling, and that's what you would need to do if you wanted to keep a snake. So
I don't
really,
know
it's
if
a
everybody at
personal.
home could deal with that.
It's a personal decision.
It
really,
is cruel, but it has
it's
to
just
be done
it's
if you're going to
just
have a snake.
a fact of life. If you want a snake,
It's
that's
nature, baby.
right.
It's
Now,
nature, there's nothing cruel
when you
about
go
it.
into your adults, I actually had this snake on the first week I was on, and Pauline handled it, and it was fine.
I loved it. Oh my God!
This is your mouse.
Oh, looks like my pet. Oh no!
Now, I don't know if this snake is going to come out.
Don't do it! Please don't do it! Oh no!
Right, that's it. It's got the smell.
Now don't forget it's dead. Do you
What
know
you'll
that
see
thing-
here is the tongue's coming out, right?
Oh,
What it's doing is it's
sticking
sniffing, and
Dead.
it knows that's a mouse.
Oh, it's dead. It's all stiff. Can you not tell? Look,
The problem, I think, is the bright lights in the studio.
Right.
it's having a wee taste of it.
normally-
These tongues.
Is his tongue coming out to smell? Is that-
He knows it's a mouse, but he's not sure about it coming out because it's light. Snakes normally feed at dusk.
Remember and look away now, guys, if you're squeamish, because
Yeah.
I think it's a bit late for that, Mike.
No, if you really can't keep
In all
this at
honesty,
home,
well, they told
all
me
I
to say
advise
that,
you
you
to do
know.
is
There
not
you
look.
go. Right, that's some took it. What I'll do is I'll lift this up.
Oh my
How's
God.
it going to fit it in its mouth?
Right, basically,
Pauline, you shouldn't have to ask how things
the
fit things
reason
in now.
as well for holding the mouse by the tail is the chances are the snake's actually going to grab the head first. If it doesn't what they do is they know that the fur grows from the front to the back, and they'll press their nose against the mouse, and they know that the nose is at this end, so they'll actually work their way to the head. If you imagine the shape of a mouse, it's pointed at the front. It's a lot easier to swallow head first. What it's done is it's basically just hanging on at the moment, but it's going to work its way around to the nose.
I can see it's actually working its way.
And what it'll do, it's just about getting there. Once it gets the nose into its mouth, that's when it dislocates its jaw.
It dislocates its jaw?
It's got to dislocate its jaw to take that mouse in.
I don't know, I heard you.
That looks like you on a Saturday night, Pauline. But it's not a mouse you've got in your mouth.
What they do here is once they actually go into...
Excuse me a second. Cheeky son.
Now, once they start to get to the thicker part of the mouse, what it does is dislocate their jaws. A snake's jaw isn't one piece of bone like ours, it's actually two. So if you imagine the jawbones, the bottom jawbones are like that. They open up, there's a piece of muscle between them, so they open up and they go down. So they open up. If you imagine a sock and pushing an apple into a sock, it's exactly the same idea, it just stretches around.
How long will it take it to get that in its mouth?
Well, it's got the head now, but it would take maybe about 20 minutes to eat the whole mouse.
10 minutes?
Yeah,
But
20 minutes.
It depends on the snake. Some snakes are really fast feeders.
And how long does it take to digest it?
It'd take it maybe 4 days to
Remember,
digest.
guys, that mouse is dead incidentally.
The mouse was bought frozen and thawed out just for this. But the thing is, a lot of people ask me questions about feeding, and like I said, a lot of people think that people feed live. We don't. It's frowned upon by everybody.
It's illegal as well, right?
It is illegal, but I mean it is cruel, and there's a chance that the mouse is going to damage your snake. Right. So there's no need to do it. Just don't do it. Some snakes won't go for anything that's sitting still. So what to do is actually pull at the tail so that the mouse moves, and the snake thinks it's moving, and it'll strike.
Oh my God!
How often do you feed that one?
This once a week. I'll take one mouse that size every week.
Really?
How much do those mice cost?
You're talking about roughly 60 pence a week to feed.
Oh, that's not bad.
So they're a lot cheaper than your dogs and cats.
What about the baby? Is he started now or is he still?
No, it's just,
Not having any of
again,
that.
it's because it's a baby, it's quite highly strung. It's bright lights, he's not really interested.
What size of mice do you have to give?
Right, the size of the food, what you do is you basically look at the thickest part of the snake, forget the neck. People make the mistake of looking at how thin the neck is and think, right, it'll need to be something that small. What you do is look at the thickest part of the snake and find a mouse that's roughly that sort of thickness. It will stretch its mouth and it will take it.
Yeah, because there was that, he was telling us about that, is it a python before that ate a human?
Well, that was a reticulated python, but I mean they go to 35 feet. We're talking about this.
Can you bring them into this country?
I have people
Put one in my brother's room and
people
that?
keep them.
Oh my God.
That's it, just...
My palms are sweating, my palms are
It's really deep-throating that now, isn't it?
Jesus Christ. How the hell are we going to take that to competition?
The other thing is, though, if you don't like this, this whole aspect, what you can do is basically just throw the mouse in, shut the lid, go away, and come back in an hour.
It's got to be done, I guess, Jim.
Thank you. What a brilliant and mind-blowing, kind of scary in a way, Jim, but you are the man when it comes to wildlife. Should we get on with the competition, Paulie?
Let's, to change the subject quickly.